दिन हम डॉक्टर संदेशा रायपा और प्रोफेसर अमित चंद्रा जी को सुनेंगे। डॉक्टर संदेशा, आप सब लोग मेरे साथ से परिचित हैं कि हम सबको अंग्रेजी सिखाती हैं, लिंग्विस्टिक एम्पावरमेंट सेल में हैं। और मैं तो सच मैम को इस ग्रुप में जानता हूँ कि इस यूनिवर्सिटी में शायद सबसे ज्यादा क्लास यही लेती है। हर सेंटर के विद्यार्थियों को भाषा सिखाने का काम, जिससे कि उनको वो विषय ज्ञान पे ध्यान केंद्रित कर सके, भाषा ज्ञान एक बाधा ना बने। इसके लिए सुबह से लेकर शाम तक लगातार उनकी कक्षाएं चलती रहती हैं। मैं डॉक्टर संदेशा जी का इस ज्ञान कार्यक्रम में स्वागत करता हूं और प्रोफेसर देवशंकर नवीन जी से निवेदन करता हूं कि एक स्मृति चिन्ह भेंट कर डॉक्टर संदेशा जी का इस ज्ञान कोर्स में स्वागत करें। डॉक्टर संदेशा मूलतः एक भाषा विज्ञानी हैं, लिंग्विस्ट हैं। इसलिए वे अनुवाद के भाषा वैज्ञानिक और सांस्कृतिक पहलुओं पर आज बात करेंगी और ये सेशन निश्चित तौर पर दिलचस्प होगा और एक संवादात्मक होगा। आप अपनी जिज्ञासाएं, अपने सवाल इसमें रखें और मैम से बात करें। उनका अनुभव बहुत संपन्न है। मैम अपनी मातृभाषा को जीवित करने के लिए भी, जो मातृभाषा बहुत कमजोर पड़ गई है, अब देख रहे हैं कि ग्लोबलाइजेशन के प्रेशर में बहुत सारी भाषाएं खतरे में हैं, तो इनकी मातृभाषा भी खतरे में थी, लेकिन उस भाषा को पुनर्जीवित करने के लिए अपने प्रोजेक्ट के माध्यम से, अपने प्रयासों के माध्यम से लगातार काम कर रही हैं। ऐसे बहुत सारे अनुभव आपको सुनने को मिलेंगे। मैं आमंत्रित करता हूं डॉक्टर संदेशा रायपा जी।
धन्यवाद सर। आई होप द पीपल ऑनलाइन कैन हियर मी। वो सुन पा रहे हैं? एक बार चेक कर लीजिएगा।
क्या आप मुझे सुन पा रहे हैं? मैं आपको देख नहीं पा रही हूँ, बट आई होप यू आर एबल टू लुक एट द पीपीटी। मुझे देखना ज़रूरी नहीं है, पीपीटी को देख लीजिएगा और मेरी आवाज़ सुन लीजिएगा। बाकी जो यहाँ पे है, थैंक यू सो मच फॉर बीइंग हियर। सबसे पहले तो मैं आप लोग को ये बता दूँ कि दिस इज़ गोइंग टू बी वेरी इंटरैक्टिव। आप में से बाहर से कौन है जो जेएनयू के बाहर के स्टूडेंट्स हैं? जी, वेरी गुड। जी जी सर, हाँ, व्हाटएवर, थैंक यू सो मच सर। आप दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी के हैं? डीयू एंड इग्नू, ठीक है। डीयू में क्या पढ़ रहे हैं आप?
मैं अभी उर्दू और फारसी सीख रहा हूँ।
उर्दू और फारसी, बढ़िया। डिपार्टमेंट से? मास्टर्स और बैचलर्स?
सर्टिफिकेट डिप्लोमा कोर्स।
अच्छा, डिप्लोमा कोर्स है, गुड। एंड इग्नू से?
मास्टर्स इन इंग्लिश।
ओके, ऑलराइट। DMEG4, एस्पेक्ट्स ऑफ लैंग्वेज, वो भी आता है? यस, ओके। और किसी और ने भी हाथ उठाया था। मैम को तो हम जानते हैं, मैम को तो हम अपना ही मानते हैं, मैम बोल रही है हाथ ऊपर करके। दूसरे कौन, किसी और ने भी उठाया था? यस, विच यू? ओके, वेरी गुड। एंड द अदर पर्सन? ओके, निन्न पेरेंट കുറച്ച് കുറച്ച് മലയാളം. ओके, इट्स नाइस। एंड व्हाट अबाउट यू? जामिया से? अच्छा, बहुत बढ़िया। हम जेएनयू वालों ने तो जामिया वालों को एक बहुत बड़ी देन दी है। वापस लौटा दीजिएगा टाइम पे। और कौन है यहाँ पे? यस, डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ हिंदी। ओके, वेरी गुड। बाकी लोग जो जेएनयू से है वो अपना हाथ उठा दीजिए। ओके, वेरी गुड। आप सब लोग हिंदी डिपार्टमेंट के, जो हिंदी डिपार्टमेंट के वो हाथ ऊपर कर लीजिए, ठीक है। ओके, और जो बाकी दूसरे डिपार्टमेंट्स के, आप कौन से डिपार्टमेंट से? फ्रेंच, ओके। एनीवन फ्रॉम लिंग्विस्टिक्स? ओके, लिंग्विस्टिक्स वालों को तो दे ऑलरेडी हैव ट्रांसलेशन स्टडीज एंड अदर लैंग्वेजेस, विच वन? हिंदी ट्रांसलेशन, जी, हिंदी ट्रांसलेशन। जापानीज स्टडीज, ओके, वेरी गुड। यू? Arabic studies. Salam alaikum. Kaifa halak? Good, good. Zen. Who else? Yes? Center for Korean Studies. Okay. Philosophy. Very good. You? Urdu. ठीक है, बहुत बढ़िया. Now, the reason I wanted to know कि what is like the audience like, you know, थोड़ा बहुत मैं भी आपके साथ adjust कर लूँ. So I'll try to make it maybe as easy as possible for people who are not aware of linguistics or about translation. This is a mixed audience. जो मुझे ऑनलाइन सुन रहे हैं, ऑनलाइन देख रहे हैं, आई एम अज्यूमिंग यू आर हैविंग अ बेसिक नॉलेज ऑफ ट्रांसलेशन, एंड इन फैक्ट आई थिंक यू हैड अ वंडरफुल सेशन विद मैम, एंड मैम ने आप लोगों को काफ़ी कुछ, आई सॉ हर्स, इट वाज वेरी गुड, उन्होंने आपको बहुत सारी चीज़ों से इंट्रोड्यूस करा दिया है. सो आई ट्राई टू टेक इट फॉरवर्ड फ्रॉम देयर. सो मैंने उसके बारे में बताया है, बट आई एम, बाय द वे, आर यू ऑल कंफर्टेबल इन हिंदी? बिकॉज आई वाज टोल्ड टू बी बाइलिंगुअल. So should I be bilingual? Yes? Okay. So wherever you're not able to understand, if I'm speaking in English, please raise your hands. Wherever you're not able to understand my Hindi, please raise your hands. Feel comfortable. Okay? So the topic that I was told was that since it's the title of the entire, the sessions and all, I took up this one, which is culture, language and translation. This is a socio-linguistic approach. Socio-linguistics, as you know, a combination of sociology and linguistics. Linguistics is a scientific study of language, and I have been collecting, as sir was mentioning, data from not only my community in Uttarakhand, which is on the border of China, Tibet and Nepal, but also recently I have a project with IIT Roorkee. You will see one particular poster about it, where we are collecting the indigenous knowledge of the communities out there in Chhattisgarh region, primarily right now from the Orao community, who speak, does anybody know what language they speak? वेरी गुड, शाबाश मैम के लिए एक सरप्राइज गिफ्ट होना चाहिए, ताली हमारे लिए. थैंक यू मैम. सो नाउ जस्ट आई विल गिव यू 1 or 2 एग्जांपल्स फ्रॉम देयर टू काइंड ऑफ एंड मेक यू आल्सो थिंक ऑफ एग्जांपल्स फ्रॉम योर ओन cultures, your own communities. I think ma'am has already done a very good job of that. I'll just try to do my best. Okay, so the objective of today's sessions is to understand how culture influences language. I'm sure after these sessions you would have already realized, and you would have realized it from before, and explore translation as a means of mediating the cultural differences. So how can translation, how does it mediate? Okay, we'll try to answer that. Identify the challenges and strategies for effective cultural translation. Now, why is this topic important? Kudos to sir. सबसे पहले तो जो organizers हैं और volunteers, उनके लिए तालियां होनी चाहिए for choosing such a wonderful, the topic, the title, everything, for having a wonderful hostess, I would say, the speaker. And the topic is important because languages, they shape one's identity. Okay, cultural identity. Am I allowed to move? Because this online does work. Okay. Yeah, okay. I think just, can you hear me at the back, even without the mic? With the mic? Okay. Okay, hello. This is not working. Okay, hello. Okay, so मैं आपको एक बात बताना चाहती हूँ. So till the age of 21 years, till I came to JNU to do my masters in the Center for Linguistics and English, I thought my mother tongue is Hindi. Okay, believe it or not. I thought, yeah, wherever mother tongue was asked, I would write Hindi. So when I came here, because I belong to a community that has an endangered language known as Ranglo. Okay, Ranglo is my language. But I didn't know. I know it was my language, but I didn't know that that was my mother tongue, because I thought mother tongue means that you should be very good, very fluent in your mother tongue. So when the faculty out here, when she was explaining to us and telling us a definition, she told us that it's not necessarily that you know your mother tongue, because your mother tongue is your ethnic identity. Okay, now interestingly, I have always been I was born and raised in Dubai. So in Dubai, everyone did not believe I was an Indian. So, till they didn't hear me or came to know about me, they would always think that I was from some other country. Even in my own country, when I came to India, I was misunderstood to be from another part, from the neighboring country, Nepal, or from another state. Okay, that time Uttarakhand was part of UP. So when I came here and I realized that this is an ethnic identity, so it made sense, because if I tell you Hindi, but if I just saying Hindi doesn't make me a person from a particular state. So that those connections are there. So language and culture, which we know as Bhasha and Sanskriti, they are intertwined. Okay, so they're literally like this. You can't take one out of the other. But interestingly, if you look at it, the title had culture first, not language first. Generally, you will always see it comes language and then culture. Rarely do you find culture coming first. So anybody, why do you think, what's the reason? Why is it that culture came first? Was it done purposely? क्या षड्यंत्र था इसके पीछे? Why did I have culture coming first? Okay, so think about this question, because that's also going to come up. Now, going forward, translation bridges cultures, Definitely, no doubt about it. We have people from Korean and Arabic over here, people speaking Malayalam over here. And if they don't know English or they don't know Hindi, then through the interpreters, through the translators, we are able to connect, right? They do a fabulous job if they are very fluent in both the languages, and they're able to bridge the gap that we have. How do they bridge the gap? Now, social linguistic impacts communication. Definitely does. So, the first question for all of you: what comes to mind when you think about the impact of culture on language? What do you think? Is there an impact of culture on language? Yes or no? Yes? Okay, like how?
Uh, Prima facie, one can think of tone one uses and the idioms that come in language.
Okay.
So I'll take example from my own mother tongue, Haryanvi.
Okay.
So Haryanvi is often referred to as a Latmar language.
Yes. By the way, for people who don't know what lut mar is, do you know what is lut mar? Lut is this lut, which the police uses sometimes on protesters and all. And mar is beating, okay?
So Haryanvi has its own unique tone that is very unique to it. I mean, to the extent, the lahja, how it is spoken.
The style.
Yeah,
What is your name?
Keshav,
Keshav ji. Translate latmar to the people.
Latmar, getting beaten with sticks.
No, but he said that my language is known. Haryanvi is known as latmar. That's what you said. Do you see the connection? Now, people who have never heard Haryanvi, you'll be like, what? How can a language be associated with beating of a stick? Because people who know Haryanvi, they would understand. Yes? Why? Because when two people who are from, close friends also Haryanvi, if they are speaking, like actual, their tone, that we say thet Haryanvi, like actual Haryanvi, people will think they're fighting.
Yeah.
But they're not fighting. They're best of friends. They're literally, langotia yar, as they say. Okay? That is another langotia yar. Keep thinking of these words, okay? Langotia yar. Translate langotia yar in English. Okay, I know. We've tried that.
Study buddy.
Exactly. All right. So now what I'm trying to tell you is that this thing, your understanding of the culture makes you understand why that Haryanvi is being called as Latmar language. Okay. So some people might take it negatively, but it's not to be taken negatively. It is something which they are proud of. It is how they are. They are very happy. They're very loud. They don't keep themselves quiet. Whereas you have another state people where two friends are talking and bade pyar se, with so much of love and affection, you think that, oh, they're very good, they're just having a good time, but they're actually arguing. But that language does not have that tone wherein, they go into that loud mode, so you can't make out. So that is how language and culture, with the tone that he's talking about, all those things, those obviously matter. I'll go further. Now, I was trying to think of making you people understand the different words that were used in the title. Okay, so let's try answering. What is culture? What is language? What is translation? And why is social linguistics important? I'm not going to try to go in because ma'am has already done the ground job, but quickly. So culture, obviously, the shared beliefs, the traditions, the religion, the values, the social norms, the customs and behaviors of a particular group. That shapes the way that you think and you communicate. Okay, and culture is the background against which language and meaning are created. Now, everybody, I want to tell you, everybody asks me, which state are you from? Earlier, I was from UP. Okay, so when I was a kid, when I was in the 4th standard, my school was having its silver jubilee. I was in the largest school for Indians in the Gulf. It was known as Indian High School. If you ever go to Dubai, you can say that I know somebody from this school. So in that, my teacher called me and she said, Sandesha, we are going to make you an Assamese girl. And I was like, Assamese? I am from UP. I'm a UP girl. She said, no, Assamese. You go home, you tell your mother. So I went home and I told my mother. I was very upset. I said, Mummy, my teacher made me an Assamese girl, but I should be a UP girl. So my mother smiled and she said, Beta, don't worry. And she opened up a diary. It was an India diary. And she showed me the picture of an Assamese girl. And she said, look, they look like us. We look like them. This is how you explain to a 4th standard kid. Come on, yeah. And then she was like, so she made me a skirt kind of thing and a top. And then I had to go on the stage and I had to say that I'm an Assamese girl. And I never understood till I came to India for my graduation that why I had been made an Assamese girl. All right. So obviously your physical traits, obviously they do affect a lot when people are, trying to pinpoint and make. So your language and culture, where does this come in play? So when we are talking about culture, so when you talk about now UP becoming Uttarakhand, when I tell people I'm from Uttarakhand, they expect me to have the Uttarakhandi traditions. Now my traditions are not Uttarakhandi, honestly speaking. My traditions are from my community, which is different. So just because you are from a state, you might be from Bihar. Bihar has 38 districts, but the 38 districts, they might have their own traditions which are different. Because there are people who say that we are Brahmins, but we are Brahmins, but we eat fish. Because for them, fish is like very important, and even when a bride comes, she is first given a fish. That is in their tradition. Whereas in other places, it's like, oh my God, how could you do that? I'm like different kind of Brahmin. So everybody has their own thing as per their areas and regions, right? Now, going back, you have oh yeah, this is there, right? Can you put this? Can you put this so that I don't have to keep coming back? Okay, so now what is language? Language, as you know, it's a system of communication using symbols, spoken, written, and non-verbal. Okay? Yeah, okay. So it represents thoughts, emotions, and identity. Yesterday, I saw ma'am's video on YouTube, and ma'am mentioned something about sign language. Okay? And she said something, I think a question or something about whether sign language is a language and whether it has any. So this is Indian, this is sign and language. I am the official person in this university to create awareness about Indian sign language. So I would like everyone to do this. Indian, this is the sign for Indian. This is the sign for sign. And this is the sign for language. Okay, good. Now, why am I telling you this? Because Indian Sign Language is a language. It has a grammar, it has a vocabulary, and it has a structure. Okay? For example, if you want to say, what is your name? You will say, name, this is the sign for name, your what? Naam, tumhara kya? Okay? So, this is what I want to tell you that yes, there are even there. Now, if you look at it, why did ma'am have culture coming before language? When a child who is deaf is born, the child is not hearing the language. The child is first getting acquainted to the culture. This is the reason why, ladies and gentlemen, I chose culture as the first one before language. Though I told you language and culture are interrelated. A deaf child is getting acclimatized to a deaf culture. Now, everyone, what is deaf culture? How is it different from, we are all hearing, you are a hearing person, not a deaf person, okay? So how is your culture different from a deaf person's culture? Think for 30 seconds. How is your world different from a deaf person's world? In simple words.
Sound.
Sound, yes. So what's about sound? Give me an example.
So I think our worldview, the way we think and perceive things are also shaped by their sound. So a deaf person would form opinions about things in absence of a sound.
Absence of sound. So simple thing. You right now, if there is a fire somewhere, you would all hear the bell. If we had a deaf person or we had all deaf people around here, then they wouldn't be able to hear the bell. For them, the red light has to be placed. When somebody rings their doorbell, they can't hear it. They can't see their phones, right? They can't hear their phones. They can only see it moving, vibrating, or they can look at the light blinking. That is their culture. Okay? There are many other things. You can't just call out a deaf person who is walking like this. You have to go and you have to tap them. And you can't just touch them anywhere. As per deaf culture, you have to tap them either here or here. Okay? Some people have the habit of tapping people on the head. They do that. They don't even realize what they're doing. That is complete disrespect because that is human ethics. These are basic things. But I wanted to explain to you why I put culture before language. Once the deaf person as a baby grows up and realizes that something is missing, because as he said, it is very difficult for the deaf person, then what does he or she, you all, what did you say for water? When you wanted water, have you ever seen a child? You won't remember your own words. For a child, what does a child say for water? Mum. Very good. Why do you say mum? Why do you say mum? Why don't you say zu? Why are you saying mum? Because, use your brains, child is born, doesn't have teeth.
And people who know linguistics or even the language people, your entire articulators, they play a role. If you lose your teeth, the first 2 teeth, you will not be able to pronounce particular sounds, right? Particular sounds. So the child, ma is easier, pa, ba, those are easier. So now, when the deaf child, when they're growing up, they can't say mum, mum, mum. So they're doing either this or they're doing this, whatever they want, different signs. Now, Indian Sign Language has become a language that has become standardized for the deaf people in our country. So that a person from Kerala who's deaf and a person from Kashmir who's deaf, when they come and learn in a deaf school, then they will pick up the same signs. Okay? All right. Now, this is the power of language, whether it is spoken language, remember, or whether it is sign language. Now, these are the languages around the world, a few of them. We have many, many, many languages. Just wanted to show you, try to remind you, try to get you out of the world, out of this particular classroom. Then India itself. In India, how many language families do we have? 5. Which are they?
There is Indo-Aryan.
Yes. How much percent? How much percent?
I don't know exactly.
Okay. All right.
North India.
Yes. Very good.
Indo-Aryan.
No, wait, hold on, go slow, because there are people who are not, knowing this. So Indo-Aryan, she said, okay, Indo-Aryan, around 71% of the languages are Indo-Aryan. And which are the languages in Indo-Aryan?
Hindi, Sanskrit,
Yes,
Haryani,
yes,
Rajasthani,
Kumaoni, Gadwali, Nepali, Odia, Bengali, Gujarati, Marathi, yes, Chhattisgarhi, Sadri, these are part of Indo-Aryan language family. Okay? Second, there is nothing like first and second, we are going by the number, okay? Dravidian, yes, which are the ones? Tamil is the oldest, Kannada, Telugu, Malayalam is the youngest, okay? They are 19%. Tulu, yes, there are many other indigenous languages also. Third, we have Tibeto-Burman. Tibeto-Burman, they are Tibeto-Burman language family. Ranglo comes under that, my language. Most of the border languages that are bordering China, Tibet, the northeast, okay, Himachal Pradesh, the Himalayas, the Himalayan languages who are very close to the borders, they are generally Tibeto-Burman, 1.4%. Okay, 1.4. Okay, and then you have Austroasiatic. Okay, and then very good. Great Andamanese, those languages. What's your name? Okay, all right. So now that you've been acquainted to the thousands and thousands of other languages that we have, as you can see, how does your own language reflect your cultural background? Does it reflect? Yes. He already gave you a very good example. Okay. Haryanvi people, if they actually speaking in Thet Haryanvi, they have grown up to that area. Not a Haryanvi who is born and raised in Delhi who hasn't heard Haryanvi. You have in America a lot of Malayalis, lot of Tamilians who are now in California. They are born there, but their parents are working from morning to evening. They see their parents only during the weekends, and they, the Mexican nanny or, Spanish speaking nanny is taking care of them. They speak Spanish better than they speak Malayalam. I know because I have friends who are telling me this. So in fact, they think that their mother tongue is Spanish, whereas their mother tongue is not Spanish, even if they are fluent, because that's not their ethnic identity. Until they grow up as an adult and claim to say that, yes, Spanish is my mother tongue, it's a different thing. So I'm trying to correct that entire thought process. Don't think that the first language that you're speaking is going to be your mother tongue. Don't think you have to be fluent in your mother tongue. I know I'm breaking some barriers out here. You people are getting a little bit shocked, ma'am kya bol rahi hai? But trust me, at the age of 21, when I learned this, so I thought I should pass on the knowledge. Because your children in the future, if you go to Europe, to Germany, and you're going to work, and your child is ending up speaking German better than his Hindi or whatever other mother tongue, then you'll realize why. Now, this one, I just wanted to give you an example. You know what this is? Yeah. Now, are you Kashmiri? You know. Okay. So, how would you translate this to somebody? If you didn't have this image. If you didn't have the image, and as she told you, this is the de jure, how would you tell somebody if you are reading a text about a bride wearing a de jure, okay, or receiving a de jure? Then how would you tell? You would say earring. Looks like an earring. It's not an earring. It's not just an earring. Well, actually, it's an ornament which is worn around the ears, but it's more than that. It's not even describing it. This de jure is not just an earring. Just like a Mangal Sutra is not just a chain, okay, or a necklace. It is way beyond it. There is a cultural importance to it. So remember, words are not just words that you're translating. There is a responsibility that each and every one of you who wants to become a translator has to remember. You can't say this is an earring. This is way beyond it. How you explain it is going to come later on. Now, okay, this is... So, culture and language. I'm trying to, sorry, just one second. Where is this? Oh, sorry, yeah. Just give me a second. Sorry. Do I remove it and put it again? हाँ. अच्छा नहीं, अभी यहाँ पे blank आ गया. आ रहा है, I think आ रहा है. वो HDMI केबल फिर से लगाओ ना. ये ब्लू वाला उसको फिर से निकाल के लगाओ ना फिर से. निकाल के लगाया इसने. सॉरी, कहते there's a movie, there's a story ना, बड़े बड़े देशों में छोटी छोटी बातें होती रहती है. So बड़े बड़े सेशंस में भी छोटी छोटी बातें होती रहती है. Okay, so this is one of them. So as I was telling you about culture and language, this was just to show you pictures. There is this anthropologist, his name is Goodenough. Okay, नाम ही ऐसा है, Goodenough. Alright. In fact, yesterday, very interestingly, I got a particular video on Instagram, which was about how Bandyopadyas and Chattopadyas became Chatterjees and Banerjees. Okay, how names evolve. Okay, so same way, this particular person's name is Goodenough. कुछ हो गया है क्या? अच्छा, उसकी वजह से. मल्टीपल चीजें रहती हैं तो ये निकाल दो फिर, डजंट मैटर. फिर से ऑन किए. Okay, now it's it. Can people online, do they have anything to ask? Can we hear them also? Just to, I hope they're listening and not doing something else. उससे मत करो, वो फिर वापस ऑन होगा. इसमें मैं इसको रुक जाइए दूसरा ये कनेक्ट कर. दूसरा I'll do this. Okay, I'll just put this again. उससे नहीं है, रणवीर उससे मत करो. इसमें लगा के इससे हो जाएगा. He's giving another connector. फिर वो पूरा इसमें just put this. Get this. Okay. अब वो लगा. एक और था उसी के साथ लगा. ठीक आ गया ना, स्क्रीन पे आ गया है कुछ. स्क्रीन पे आ गया. ओके, ऑलराइट एवरीवन, रुकावट के लिए खेद है. ओके, Culture and Language, Goodenough, in 1981, asserts that culture in a society is whatever a person has to know or believe in order to operate in a manner acceptance to its members and to do so in any role that they accept for any one of themselves. For example, there are people who claim to be of a particular religion, let's say, okay? So all of you will think that this religion people will have the same belief. How the man, how the woman came into the world, correct? Yes or no? Yes? Okay. Don't be surprised When you say, oh, you're from the same religion, I know that in your society, men and women, oh, let's take her as an example. She comes to India, she meets this person who is from the same religion as mine on paper and says, oh, she tells me, oh, I know from your, from your religious texts that how man and women came. I said, no, in my community, it's not like that. In my community, man came from an egg and woman came from another egg. Okay? That's how we have in my community. That's what I'm trying to tell you. On paper, people can be from the same religion, same community, not same community, but same religion, same certain beliefs and all, but there will be variations. Okay? It is your own personal beliefs of the community, what they believe in, what they have passed on from one generation to other. Okay? According to Vygotsky in 1962, as cited in Noonan in 2010, language plays a crucial role in cognitive development, at least from the time the child promotes language competence. Why did I bring about a child? Because, as you know, he is a psycholinguist, okay? And he has done immense work on child psychology, all right? Why is child psychology, by the way, if any of you know, why is child language acquisition an important subject? Why is child language acquisition, like how a child acquires a language, why is that important? Why is that research important? Why, somebody said he's from Korean, right? Japanese, sorry. So the person who's from Japanese, why is it important to know how a child is picking up Japanese language? Because the same mistake that a child does while picking up Japanese language is the same mistake he will do as an adult picking up Japanese. You understand? Classic case. When we are learning English, we are saying what? Past tense of dance is danced. Play is played. Sing, sang, not singed. Okay? So we are like, okay. Go is not goed, it's went, right? We learnt it because this is not our first language, it's not our mother tongue. Now the same mistake that we are making as adults, or even when we are learning, the same mistake a child is doing, even if he or she is a native speaker. There the child is playing and saying, I go it. The parents laugh. They say, not go it, went. This is the reason why child language acquisition is so important for adult language acquisition also, especially for people to learn. Okay, a tip for all of you, many of you are from language. Now, this is why his work is so important. And remember one thing, you all have heard about the critical hypothesis. You have heard about the particular age when children, they are like a sponge. You can teach them 3 or 4 languages, aram se. The child who is there in California can pick up Spanish, Hindi, Malayalam. If the mother is Hindi speaker, father is Malayalam speaker. And then if the teacher in school is Korean and telling a little bit of Korean, the child is a sponge, will pick up. Okay, and whatever he or she is comfortable in will take it up further. So, okay, so the relationship between language and culture. According to Fuller and Wardo in 2015, there are several possible relationships between language and culture. One is the social structure may either influence or determine the linguistic structure and or the behavior. Second point, the linguistic structure and or behavior may either influence or determine the social structure or worldview. Remember this. When you were growing up, your parents said, "Beta, ऐसे मत करना, बर्तन को उल्टा मत करना." हम उल्टा करके खाना नहीं बनाते. I don't know if anybody knows this. Okay, हम तो सीधा ही खाते. Okay, let me give you a better one. My best friends are Malayali. I went to their house and I saw them eating chor. Chor means rice. So, you know, have you ever seen Malayalis eating rice? They eat completely like this, like a ball, and then they eat it. It's so tasty. I came home and I did that. And my mother said, don't ever do that. In our community, it is considered very bad because we make balls of rice only when somebody dies and then we leave it. Correct? Okay. So, look at the cultural difference. Same country, Indian. She'll say, oh, you're Indian. You must be also eating like my friend. No, we're different. Because if it's our culture, right? So, this is what I mean. A third possible relationship is that the influence is bi-directional. That means I picked up the Malayali culture from her. She also picked up a bit of my culture. So this was bi-directional. Now, whether her parents allowed her or not, that's a different story. And language and society may influence each other. Fourth point, to assume that there is no relationship at all between linguistic structure and social structure and that each is independent of the other is not possible, okay? All right, so let me go ahead. I'm going to welcome few of the faculty who are here. Thank you for coming. Now, language as a cultural carrier, language reflects cultural values and traditions, all right? Example, Inuit. Now, this is a very classic example. People have been constantly saying this. First, I thought I shouldn't say the same example, but then I realized that there are people who are not necessarily linguists out here, language people. So, like somebody is from political science over here. So, I think I should explain to you. Inuits are people in Alaska, okay? They are the ones who make the igloos, right? And igloo for them means house, okay? Which we call igloo. Igloo means ice picks. For them, it's actually a house. And by the way, just in case you people don't know, igloos are not their permanent homes, mind you. Igloos are their temporary homes because when they are hunting from place to place, that's when they make the igloos. And why do they have many words for snow or ice? Not only them, from my community itself, we have 4 or 5 words for ice. Why? Obviously, because of the seasonal changes. Do you know what is that called? Icicles? Yes? Icicles are the ice. Okay, when you open your refrigerator, you can see all those like little ice which is like over there. Imagine them like a spear, like a sword. That is an icicle. It's hanging, let's say, over here. Now, when it's winter, it'll be stuck over there. But as the thaw starts coming, that means it starts melting. When you are going down, imagine you're in Uttarakhand, where it is completely Himalaya, okay? And slowly it's getting warmer. And you are living in those wooden houses which have first floor and second floor, but you have only one entrance from the door in the middle. Whenever we go down, everybody in the house will say, I'll explain in Hindi, okay? Tilin ko dekh kar nikalna. That means be careful because if it falls on your head, it can pierce through here. So this is the reason why that word tilin is so important. Then you have another word for when you want to use ice for basically making water out of it because we also go high up in the mountain. Now, we only have 5, 6. But Inuits have many because they have, depending on the particular temperature, what they're using it for water, for making their igloos or for their refrigerators. They actually have their own refrigerators. They also have refrigerators. They make it out of ice. Okay. Now, cultural specific words are hard to translate. Okay. Now, I'm going to give you an activity. Don't worry. I already warned you. This is going to be interactive. You all are going to be given a minute to think of one word in your language which you think is hard to translate. I will give you examples, so don't worry, no tension about it. Now, what is translation? So, I'm going to keep it very simple because ma'am already gave you the technical details. The process of transferring meaning from one language to another is translation. Okay? Cultural adaptation plays a key role in that. So, it's not just, okay, I said the meaning, this is this. I want the culture transmission also to take place in that. Now, how do they interconnect? Again, as I kept telling you, Bhasha and Sanskriti. Language expresses culture and translation is doing the mediation work between them. So, translation as a cultural mediation. Translation is not just about converting words, it's about conveying cultural context. What is the translator's role over here? Bridging the cultural gaps and preserving the nuances. Okay, now let me give you an example. In the last 1 month, actually for the last, I think 4 or 5 years, I have been part of a committee where we are translating words from English to Hindi. All right. The first time I was invited to that committee and I was the only one with black hair. Rest everyone had white hair. So you can imagine, they were like very experienced people. We were like 7, 8. They were mathematicians. They were scientists, they were engineers, they were Hindi gurus, the Vidwans, and then I was there in the corner sitting over there, the only lady by the way, okay, that's another thing. So, they had 3,000 words that they had to translate within 1 week, 5 days, okay, morning to evening we would be translating. So, initially, first 15-20 minutes, no one was looking at me, no one was asking me anything, so I also didn't want to, interrupt, I wanted to wait and watch when they'll ask me. Suddenly, one word came. The word was receptacle. R-E-C-A-P-T-C-L-E. Everyone, receptacle. Okay? Does anybody know what is a receptacle? And by the way, this is a scientific, just to give you an idea. You know it in
मुझे मालूम है
Italian में?
लेकिन अंग्रेजी में नहीं।
अच्छा मैम, आप उसको बता सकते हैं कि वो है क्या, उसका डेफिनेशन आप बता सकते हैं?
Maybe Chittakud is something that
वेरी गुड. डिब्बा, हाँ, कंटेनर, लाइक अ,
receives something.
ओके, यस, ओके, गुड
Like a
गुड,
container.
कंटेनर, गुड, सही कह रही है मैम. ठीक है, they all put dibba and they went ahead. So I was like, actually, yeah, they put dibba. Dibba was the word that they put for in Hindi, and this is for scientists. It was being used by science people and engineers and all. So I thought basically DRDO, all these people, because it was used for rockets and all the words, terminologies. So I was quietly looking at it and I thought, एक बार मैं भी तो देखूं, because they went directly for the direct translation. They didn't go for the definition. So I just quickly googled over there what is a receptacle in that subject, in that area. Guess what? It was written, there was a nice image also. Receptacle was basically like an antenna. Because you know hibiscus shoe flower? Shoe flower has those two. That is also a receptacle. So I quietly raised my hand and said, excuse me, sir. And everybody saying, हाँ. I said, sir, एक बार पीछे जाइए और सामने वाले साइंटिस्ट को जरा पूछिए कि जरा डिस्क्राइब तो करे कि what is a receptacle in there for them, for the engineers and the scientists. Then they decided, they said something like this. So I said, you mean like a shoe flower का ऐसा दो antenna, जैसे bees का दो antenna? They said yes. I said that is not a dibba. Dibba is container. That's the power of a translator. इस बात के लिए तालियां तो दो. Yes. After that they realized why a भाषा वैज्ञानिक was called. तब तक they didn't say, they thought अरे इसकी क्या जरूरत है. After that they always checked with me. So all of you future linguists in whatever area, remember, you people have the power of English and Hindi and your third whatever language. When you go abroad, the Korean, the Japanese, the Arabic or French person out here, okay, that is what you need to do. Okay, all right. Now, have you ever encountered a translation that changed the meaning of a text? What was the impact? Think of this question. Have you ever encountered a translation that changed the meaning of a text? What was the impact? She gave an example of Godan. I saw that. Godan ka?
No, I spoke about the Bible, for example.
Bible, and you showed a picture of Godan and you said that the translation was, that was not a correct. Summary, it was summary. Yes, summary. Yes, it was summary. Okay, anyone else? Anyone would like to say about any translation they felt that no, it didn't give justice?
One time UPSC asked a question, she said,
Very good.
Steel plant to ispat ka paudha.
Very good, yes. Just say it again.
A steel plant in English,
Yeah.
and in Hindi translation, ispat ka paudha.
हाँ, स्पार्क का पौधा, वो बेसिकली स्टील को उन्होंने ट्रांसलेट कर दिया. यस, आई एग्री. ओके, डेफिनेटली आई अंडरस्टैंड दैट. Okay, for example, it'll come later. I was going to give you an example later, which is, agar just now I told you, right? CDAC Noida, we were translating words for 1 week. Crowdsourcing, funding, right? Crowdsourcing. Okay, तो crowdsourcing का हिंदी का अनुवाद कीजिए, क्या होगा? Crowdsourcing का, हाँ, crowdsourcing का हिंदी अनुवाद कीजिए. Google Translator में डालोगे तो भीड़ कहेगा. Now, is it भीड़? It is not भीड़. It is basically Jan Sotra. Jan Sotra, basically public. And then I'll give you the exact one that we had given. It was Jan Sotra Sankalan Vyavhar. Okay? Crowdsourcing business or something, it was like that. So Vyavhar was for that. But the main thing was this. Okay? That's what I'm telling you. We translators, kitna bhi log kahe ki machine. At the end of the day, the machine is machine. You are important, your value is there as long as you are a good translator. It will take ages for the artificial intelligence to catch up with our human intelligence. Okay, now the interconnection of culture, language and translation. Culture, already mentioned to you, values, the traditions, the social norms. Language, the communication system, the dialects, the idioms. Translation, mediating meaning, cultural adaptation. Okay, ये जो खुसर पुसर हो रही है किस बात के लिए? चंदे? अच्छा, वो चंदा कलेक्ट करना, राइट? इज दैट व्हाट यू आर सेइंग, क्राउडसोर्सिंग के लिए? तो बात ये है, चंदा कलेक्ट करना हमने भी कहा था, बट चंदा कलेक्ट करना इज वेरी इनफॉर्मल इन दैट पर्टिकुलर पार्ट एज कंपेयर टू मेकिंग इट फॉर्मल. दे वांटेड इट टू बी वेरी फॉर्मल, वेरी शुद्ध, और क्राउड को भी दे वांटेड कि वो खाली चंदा डोनेशन नहीं है. डोनेशन होता तो चंदा बोल भी देते, पर क्योंकि वो क्राउड सोर्सिंग है, दे वांटेड दैट पब्लिक They wanted that importance of that public coming. तो तभी उन्होंने उसको जन सूत्र कर दिया.
Chanda is
Yeah.
somehow linked to money.
Yeah.
Crowdsourcing is much more than that.
Yeah, he's right. Actually, that's a very important point. Crowdsourcing is not just money. Excuse me, जिन्होंने चंदा बोला था, crowdsourcing is not just money. Crowdsourcing किसी भी चीज के लिए हो सकता है. Like you want to help somebody, तो आप सबका पूरे जनता से उनका help ले रहे हैं. So so that's the reason why. Okay, good this thing. Now everybody, this is the part of social linguistics. तो title आज का talk में क्या था? Culture था, language था, translation था और social linguistics था. So why social linguistics? For people who are not linguists or not to do with language, the political science people. The study of how language is used within society, that is what is social linguistics. Within that, there are few things that you might want to know. Dialect, ethnolect and sociolect. Okay, dialect many of you would have heard of. For example, Hindi का ही ले लो. यहाँ पे you go to buy sabzi, one person will say tinda and the other person will say kundru. Not kundru, sorry. There's another word for it. Okay, when you go to Noida, it's one word. When you come to Gurgaon, it's another word. Okay, for tinda, I can't remember the second one. Sorry, but that's how I mean. Okay, so there are variations. So a variety that displays unique characteristics of vocabulary, grammar, and pronunciation, which are often influenced by social class and or geographical region and is thus regionally or socially distinguished. Example, Manipuri has standard Meitei dialect as well as the Chakpa dialect. Okay, any Manipuri over here? Okay, if you have Manipuri friends, you can understand this because you will have two Manipuri friends and you will say, अच्छा तुम दोनों Manipuri तो दोनों का same भाषा होगा. But it's not necessarily, as I already explained to you. I'm Uttarakhandi, but mine is different from the Kumaunis and the Gadwalis. Okay, now ethnolect, a variety of language that is associated with a particular ethnic group. Okay, if you are from a particular state, doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that whatever is the state language will be your language, your community's language will be yours. For example, Chicago English, African American Vernacular English, etc. Then sociolect. What is sociolect? This is a language whose variety is spoken by a certain social group or class. Sociolects can be influenced by a wide range of social factors, including factors like socioeconomic status, the education, the profession, the age group, the religion, the gender, etc. For example, New York accent you have a New York, like if you go to New York or somebody tells you I'm a New Yorker, one New Yorker can have a complete different accent and another New Yorker can be completely having slangs, jargons, more usage of that as compared to the other person. Now, social linguistics in translation. Now, what is the role of that? Nira in 2012 defined linguistics and social linguistics as useful ways of comprehending and viewing the distinctive roles of language. Linguistics is comprised of the two complementary ways of viewing language, whereas social linguistics is more concerned with the uses of language as well as the values associated with such functions. Hence, social linguistics analyzes levels or registers of language from highly ritual to intimate competition between dialects and between languages, the growth and death of languages, the roles of jargon, slang, and verbal innovations, gender differences, and the abuse of language. Can language be abused? No? Language can be abused. Don't you know all the galis that you people give out here? Certain people, they have to give the galis with reference to a particular gender only. I don't even have to say it. Okay? So the power is out there. Try giving the same, this particular language has it, and in Hindi you have it, and give it in English. You all know. You all watch Netflix, right? Have you seen the movies where the gali comes in Hindi and below what is written over there? That's the translation that you're getting. Alright? Now, a translator or interpreter would be more capable of understanding how social linguistic features become relevant to the entire range of communication, such as phonology, lexicon, syntax, and discourse, once they overcome the mistake of thinking language as merely words and grammar, and after they recognize the wide range of functions that language perform. By the way, the political science person, the two of you, right? One of you. Do you know, by the way, why did you choose this particular?
I'm from political science, but my research is on Dogri folk narrative.
Very good. I'll be talking to you because CDAC Noida is looking for you. They're looking for somebody who's at Dogri.
I'm just saying that how in Dogri folk narrative there is a politics of feminine emotion.
Very good.
So for that purpose, I'm here.
Very good. Excellent. Are you a Dogri speaker, by the way? Very good. Excellent. Because they just gone to Kashmir to find more people.
Because the moment you said that
इसका impact क्या होता है? तो there was a song I was going to give example.
Please give.
Yeah, for example was this, that there is a particular kind of folk song that is Pakham. अब ये जो गाना आता है इसको विदाउट इंस्ट्रूमेंट गाते हैं, इस पर्टिकुलर ले में गाया जाता है विदाउट इंस्ट्रूमेंट. But the problem is this, that someone translated in this way that it is just a song. So people started singing it like with instrument, और उससे उसका पूरा cultural meaning distort हो गया.
Very good. Give her a round of applause. She has given you a perfect example. What has she told you? The people who said it's a song, you didn't just spoil a word. You spoiled something for the remaining generations to come. अच्छा गाना है, तब तो लगा दो तबला, डगर डगर डगर, and then the entire that thing of it is gone. That's how we distort something so beautiful. This is the reason why take the responsibility of a translator to that level. Don't keep it to this. All right, let's go with this one. This is the poster I was talking about. It's half of the poster, but don't worry. So this is the title of my project right now, which is called Adaptation of Indigenous and Local Knowledge Systems and FinTech Solution. FinTech is basically to do with financial transactions, okay? FinTech Solutions for Comprehensive Tribal Development in Chhattisgarh, okay? This is a DST project. IIT Roorkee has the PI and 9 professors from IIT. I was invited in IIT Billai to talk about my project, which sir was talking about, okay? Which is for my community. So somebody said, you don't have a linguist. How will you collect language? Because language is integral to the community, which is only having oral language. By the way, Kuruk speakers only have oral language. Their text they are developing now. And if any of you think that a language can't survive unless it has a text, you are so mistaken, my dear. Okay? My own language is an oral language. Now, the next generation, we are trying to think of different ways, because WhatsApp, the older generation uses Hindi, and the younger generation uses Roman script and Devanagari, right? But the thing is, they don't do justice because many sounds are lost. Do you know why sounds are lost? People who are here from Arabic, they will know this. In Arabic, you don't have pa and you don't have ga, okay? So my father's name is Gopal, and always the Arab would say Jobal. Pepsi is not Pepsi. Pepsi is Bepsi, okay? So Alif, Ba, Ta, Sa, Zim, Ha, Ka, Dal, Zal, Ra, Za, Sin, Shin, Swe, Dwe, Twe, Zwe, An, Gan, Fa, Qaf, La, Mim, Noon, Ha, Wa, Ya. Where do you hear Ga and Pa, right? Now, the other thing, same way, Korean gurus are sitting over here.
You also do not have Yai Majhul in Arabic.
Yeah, there are certain, yes, other. And there are certain sounds in Arabic that we don't have in Hindi. The glottal sound, which comes from here, that we don't have it in Hindi. We don't have it in Sanskrit. Because people who read the Quran, they have it in Arabic. Therefore, in Urdu also you have the kh coming over there. Yes. And if you ever meet a Korean or you end up teaching a Korean, like I had to teach Korean engineers who had come to India. They were here for learning science and I had to teach them the English part. La and Ra was a problem for them. Sir, am I right? Or the students out here? La and Ra is a problem for the Korean speakers because their listening is an issue. Yes, sir? Yes, sir. Because it's not in their sound, sir? Yes. Okay. So, even making them try to roll. Do you know, if you were in school and your teacher told you, row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. This is not just a nursery rhyme. It is for making you roll your tongue. Row, row, row. Okay. So, I used to make 30-year-old, 25-year-old Koreans say, row, row, row. Then I would tell them, imagine you are starting a bike. Grr, grr, grr. You know, you have to make them basically use their articulators. Okay. Anyway, I don't know if you can see the pictures, if they're clear or not. Just to show to you. Now, this is the interesting thing, and remember this when I tell you later. Okay. Remember what I told you? Similar cultures, traditions, religious beliefs. And I told you one person can be from the same state but have different religions. Chhattisgarh is a classic example of it. Okay. Jharkhand is also another good example of it. The communities, the indigenous communities, the Santalis and Odia, this is Chhattisgarh, this is Jharkhand, this is Orissa, and this is Bihar over here or Madhya Pradesh. In one part, they are Christian, and the same part across the road in the other state, they are Hindus. Okay? Because it's just across the state, it could be whatever reasons, but they are speaking that language. Okay? So remember that. So these are few things that we were doing out there. Now, just to give you again, languages may have some words and concepts that cannot be directly translated. Like she gave you an example of it. Now in Manipuri, my project assistant in Manipuri, so she gave me this example. She said, Madam, experience word is we cannot have a direct word for it. What is it in Hindi? Anubhav would be a good word. But Manipuri में जब आपको translate करना पड़ेगा, वो नहीं आ पाता. It takes time. So they had to develop something. Otherwise, it was this. Hira mamagi, matangda, nena karabagi, akhamba. I'm sorry, please forgive me if the Manipuris are listening. Another word, aeroplane. Aeroplane के लिए हिंदी में क्या है? हवाई जहाज. और दूसरा तो क्या बोलते हैं? विमान है. क्या कौन सा विमान है? पुष्पक विमान है. वायु कौन सा? वायु विमान. ठीक है? So you have words. जिसने बनाया उसने तब बनाया. हमारे यहाँ पहले एरोप्लेन नहीं था. वो तो पहले पुष्पक विमान की बात अलग है. But right now तो एरोप्लेन तो बाद में बना. So they made it accordingly. Now for the Manipuris, how do they come up with a word for aeroplane? They came up with this, which is Nang Doltak Ta Paiba Chatang Bagi Pambe Oiba Potsak. For no, it's Potsak. Pushpak ka hi Potsak hoga ya to. But guess what it means? It basically means something which is going up in the air that is taking people with it. Okay? Basically, सब कुछ का combination मिला के खिचड़ी बना के वो कर दिया. Understood? So that's how it is. Now, Kuruk से लाती हूँ. Livestock have different names depending on their maturity and how they are used. Now, imagine this. IIT रुड़की के लोग जा रहे थे to collect to basically जो project है. The project is about going and helping the community to do what? Selling. वो कुछ बनाते हैं and then they are supposed to sell it. तो ऐप कैसे यूज करें? How to connect with the people. अब सोचो, language is so important and they did not have a linguist. So when I came into the picture, I was the first one from my team to go to collect the data. Just to sell a pig, because they, by the way, pig is very important for them, okay? So for them to sell a pig itself has different names. Why? Because if you are selling a pig, which is a fertile male pig, you have to call it kuru. If you are selling a castrated male pig, what castration means that no longer can that pig give another pig, right? You cannot have, right? So basically that's a banda, alright? Then you have buhi. Buhi is a female pig. And then you have a sedka, which is a male piglet, chota wala. Then you have a kaddi, which is a choti pig, okay? So each of this, now fintech mein kitna important hai, app mein you want to buy a pig, ab kya kharidna hai? So you have 5 words over there, okay? Just to give you an example. Now in Hindi, this is something which all of you would know. Family and relations have more nuances compared to English. In outside, auntie is for everyone, right? But in India, nahi, hamari to bua hai, chachi hai, ye hai, mami hai, mausi hai. All of them are aunties, and then you have to explain them kaun si wali auntie, right? Okay, brothers के लिए आप लोगों का क्या है हिंदी में? भाई, we have elder brother is da, बड़े भैया या दादा, not dada, right? And छोटे भैया, छोटा भैया, भाई, या नाम से पुकार लिया. In my language, we have many words. Okay? So, if you have the eldest brother, in my language, Ranglo. What is my language? Ranglo. Pod means big, Meed means small. Everybody remember this, okay? Pod means big, Meed means small. Hya means brother. Everybody open your mouth and say, Hya. Hya means brother. So, the eldest brother, if before, obviously I will be born later, the elder brothers will be born before me. If there is one elder brother before me, so simple, I can call him just Hya. Hya means elder brother. But if I have 2 elder brothers, then it will come Poya. Because this is interesting. Initially, we say Poya. Wahi Poya jo aap khate ho, wahi Poya. Now the thing is, I was wondering how come Poya bana? It is actually Pod and Hya का combination मिलके Poya. वो ड और ह निकल जाता है, because वो चिपक जाता है, ठीक है? Okay, Poya. If there is a second elder brother, then that becomes a Meedhya, which becomes Mia. So Meedhya नहीं बोल सकते, तो Mia हो जाता है. Okay? तो bigger elder brother and younger elder brother. उसके बाद, if you have younger brothers, if you have only one, then it is Nunnu. Nunnu means Chota Bhai. And if you have a Pod, you know, and there are people who, like my cousin brothers and sisters, they don't take the names of their brothers and sisters. They actually call them Poya, Mia, Nunu, Ponu, whatever. Okay, so that is how it is so important in that particular.
If you look at the what people call Balish Hindi, there is Anuja Nagaraj.
हाँ, yes, correct. Yes, correct. हाँ, बिल्कुल सही कहा.
And there
Yes.
is also this term in vernaculars called chutku badku.
हाँ, वो तो घर का वो हो गया. Okay, everyone, this one is very debatable, what I'm going to tell you, because many linguists don't agree to this. Okay, now I'm not getting into that part, but I'm just reading it out. Every language is a vast pattern system different from others, in which are culturally ordained the forms and categories by which the personality not only communicates but also analyzes nature, notices or neglects types of relationship and phenomena, channels his reasoning and builds the house of his consciousness. This is the gentleman Benjamin Lee Forth. Okay, all right. He's a very well-known linguist. All right. Sapir-Whorf, you might have heard of it. Sapir-Whorf hypothesis. So he is the part of that. He is the Whorf. Okay. Now, question time. Can you think of a word in your language that is hard to translate? Okay. I will start. One example. There is a word in my language called naso. Naso. Now you people think of translating it. I will tell you what naso is. Naso is, now imagine you are in the mountain where there is no road. It takes you 1 week to come walking from that area to down, and then from there another 2 days to come to Delhi. Okay, imagine the place. Okay, so when you want to send something for your child who is studying in college, you will send something. कुछ भी बना के, मिठाई बना के, सबको आता है घर से. But for you it's easier. Train से आ गया, plane से आ गया, road से आ गया. For us it is carried by someone. Okay, that is an extremely important thing. So when somebody is leaving the village, they will say, I am leaving tomorrow. Do you want to send any naso? Okay, that is, so naso is not just a gift. Naso is more than a gift. It is something which is very personal. It can be anything. It can be dawai is also naso. Paisa is also naso. Jewelry is also naso. But meant specifically for that person by his or her loved one. Okay, banao word. That's one exercise. Now forget about this one. Make one for yourself and tell. Give me a word from your language. Which language are you talking? Malvi. Acha, very good. Tell her which. Tell her the state. Tell her the Malwa region. Okay.
तो शादी के टाइम पे हथेरा होता है, लाइक वो गिफ्ट जैसा नहीं होता. वो जब कन्यादान होता है तो दूल्हा और दुल्हन के ऐसे पैर थाली में रखते हैं और उसके बाद उनके पैरों पे जो बड़े बड़े लोग हैं वो सब कुछ चांदी का सोने का कुछ चढ़ाते हैं. वो गिफ्ट मतलब गिफ्ट जैसा है, तो बेसिकली गिफ्ट नहीं है.
It's beyond. It has a lot of significance. तो अगर हथेरा बोला ना, हथेरा हाथ से दिया हुआ हथेरा just हाथ वाला. But you don't know the etymology. Etymology is the origin of a word, by the way. Okay, everyone say the word hatera. Pronounce it hatera. Okay, जिंदगी में आपने पहली बार मालवा region का कोई word बोला होगा. Okay, it's important. See, you have to respect your own language and culture. You have to respect the people. You are so lucky that she exposed you to a new word. इस उम्र में आकर एक नया वर्ड सीखना बहुत बड़ी बात होती है. ओके, और मेरी उम्र में आकर तो और भी बड़ी बात होती है. ओके, सो नाउ हतेरा. हतेरा को अगर कोई ट्रांसलेट करेगा, बोलेगा अच्छा ये तो गिफ्ट है. इट्स नॉट अ गिफ्ट, इट्स बियॉन्ड अ गिफ्ट. सो एनीवे, नाउ लिंग्विस्टिक रिलेटिविटी एंड कल्चर, द स्पेसिफिक कॉन्सेप्ट्स, Sapir-Whorf hypothesis which I was telling you about, the languages shaping thoughts. Okay, examples of untranslatable words. Okay, this is a case study. I'm not getting into it. Ma'am, did you cover this part by any chance? Okay, case study of social linguistic translation challenges, brand translation failures, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, KFC, the literal versus the cultural translation. Do you people know the KFC story? KFC का टैगलाइन क्या है? फिंगर लुकिंग गुड. फिंगर लुकिंग गुड तो होता क्या? हिंदी में तो आसान है, अंगुली चाटना वाला टाइप का, वो तो फिर भी आसान है. But when it got translated in China, in Chinese language, it became something like eat your fingers. Okay, something like that. Okay, so the person who did the translation. Now, why I brought this up? Because in the future, you people who are studying Korean, Arabic, French, German, Japanese over here, you might be hired by a multinational company sitting in Gurgaon or in Noida, and making you sit in the brainstorming session just like this in a round table and saying that, okay, we're opening up a new store in Singapore and we want to have this as the tagline, our tagline translated. And you people are thinking, acha, theek hai. So, but if you know what to do, then you will realize it can't be translated directly. You have to get something which is meaning something like that, which is culturally acceptable. Okay? Otherwise, the way the people protested in China, you will also have a case in hand. Okay? All right. Now, how much more minutes do I have? Sorry. Okay. Now, translate a proverb from your own language into English and discuss its cultural nuances. Take a proverb. Proverb ले लो, बात ले लो, कुछ भी ले लो. एक whatever. Think about it.
There are two.
There are two.
There is a word and then there is a proverb.
Okay,
so
बोलो.
there is this word in Haryanvi called humbe.
Humbe.
It can mean yes, it can mean no, it can mean a satirical yes, it can mean a satirical no.
आइए, खड़े हो जाइए. आओ, इधर आओ, इधर. सबको देखने दो. humbe बोलते हुए. आइए. Come. Seriously, come. We are lucky. We're getting exposed to something new. Everybody say humbe. Humbe. अब बताओ humbe का.
How it is.
Yeah, you have to tell us the situation. See, guys, I just now explained to you. जब मैंने receptacle बोला, I didn't go just by the word and its first meaning that came in the mind. जो dictionary खोला बताया. It's not like that. You open the dictionary, few of the words will give you one word with one meaning and उसके synonyms. You understand synonyms? Synonyms means it's the same meaning but different words. But when you have one dot and then you have two dots, is that a synonym? No, it's not a synonym. It is a complete different meaning. So I told you, right? Receptacle ka first word will be dibba, container. Second one was something else. I forgot the word, but I told you, जो receptacle ऐसा वाला, जो honeybees के पास होता है या flower के पास होता है. Now you tell us, humbe ka.
So let's say somebody is asking you something. Are you fine with this? Let's say you will say humbe. Okay, I'm fine with it. Yes, in the meaning of yes or okay. But if you want to say no, you would say humbe. I'm not fine with it. Also,
so
it will depend on your gesture and
your tone. Okay.
And also satirically, if you are saying okay, if you are let's say saying that I did this, I did that, and you say humbe, satirical.
Oh.
Jaise ki,
Oh. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And this can also mean whatever. I mean, if somebody is saying like somebody is feeling irritated and say humbe, whatever.
Okay, all right. Oh, okay, all right. So everybody, how would you do this if you were asked, if so by the way, if suppose you are Haryanvi and you are given something to translate in English or in Hindi, how would you translate? Then you would give the complete example or would you put it in the brackets? You put it in the brackets, correct? Yeah. Satire,
or
footnote or something. Yes. Okay. Now, this one. Do you think globalization affects translation? Yes? We just talked about it. We just talked about how it was. There is a language loss. There is linguistic imperialism. Alright? Now, can anybody tell me why did I put this picture, this image of the big fish? बड़ी मछली छोटी मछली को और छोटी मछली अपने से भी छोटी मछली को खाता है. Correct? हाँ, बताइए सर.
जैसे अंग्रेजी हिंदी को दबा रही है और हिंदी अन्य भाषा में छोटी छोटी दबा रही है.
और हिंदी किसको दबा रही है वो भी तो बताओ.
जैसे आपकी भाषा है.
हाँ.
आपने कहा 21 वर्ष तक मेरी हिंदी थी.
हाँ.
और उसके बाद में जाने की मेरी भाषा.
जैसे अभी बिहार के लोग बोलते हैं, हमारे यहाँ तो खुद की हमारी बहुत सारी भाषा है. अंगिका है, मैथिली है, मगही है. Many are there, right? So it is something. It is part and parcel. Personally, I will not say कि वो खा रहा है, ऐसा मैं नहीं कहूँगी. I would say take it in a very positive manner that we have to kind of open up ourselves to the world. अपनी भाषा को भी नहीं भूलो, अपनी भाषा को हमेशा याद करो, रिस्पेक्ट करो, because that is your identity. उसके साथ साथ और भी चीजों को अपनाओ, because that is what is going to take you also places. जितना भी दूर जाओ, बिहार से लेकर ऑस्ट्रेलिया या बिहार से लेकर कैलिफोर्निया, अपनी भाषा को मत भूलो, right? Okay. So challenges in cultural translation. Common challenges क्या है? You have idiomatic expressions and cultural references. अभी जैसे इन्होंने बताया, this idiomatic expression, humbe, okay? हमबे को अगर कैसे बताना है, कैसे बताओगे? दूसरी बात, contextual meanings that do not have direct equivalents. उसका भी मैंने आपको एग्जाम्पल दिया था, जो आपने दिया था एग्जाम्पल. आपका कश्मीरी डोगरी में क्या बोला आपने? Pakha, right? Pakha is not a Gana. Pakha has something beyond a Gana. But उसको गाना बोल के जिसने भी उसको गाना बोला उसके बाद म्यूजिक ऐड हो गया, उसके बाद पाखा खत्म हो गया और एक डिफरेंट वर्जन ऑफ पाखा आ गया. करेक्ट? ओके. तीसरा, द रिस्क ऑफ मिसइंटरप्रिटेशन और लॉस ऑफ नुआंस, सिमिलर टू व्हाट शी सेड. ओके. नाउ, which challenge do you consider most critical when translating cultural text? What do you think is a challenge? Have any of you ever tried translating? You've tried. How many of you have tried translating? यहाँ तो हिंदी ट्रांसलेशन के स्टूडेंट्स ही बैठे. ओके, तो पहले इनसे शुरू करते. हाँ, आपने किया तो बताइए.
Yesterday's session I was saying that onomatopoeic translation is very difficult.
Excellent.
Because I think yesterday I was taking the example of one poem of Harivansh Rai Bachchan.
बहुत बढ़िया.
And when I had to translate those onomatopoeic words,
yes,
especially then in French it became a lot of problem.
Okay.
Because
give the example of that particular word.
Say for example, how the blood flows in your body. For example, sing si dahar kar, ऐसे that was the poem. So and the words which were coming were the sounds are very cultural.
Yes.
For example, that will be very. For example, let's say when I am speaking, and my mother tongue is Bengali. The way I will describe a sound, somebody else who is speaking Hindi will not use the same sound in the same context. Cock-a-doodle-doo you say.
Yeah.
The cock-a-doodle-doo English speakers will say cock is doing cock-a-doodle-doo. Here we will say coo-coo-coo.
Yeah, true.
So that is very difficult to translate.
जैसे मैं एग्जांपल देती हूँ कि अंग्रेजी कुत्ता बोलता है भाव वाव और हमारा इंडियन कुत्ता होता है भाव भाव. Remember that example. That is exactly example that you give. This is true. You are translating the text from English to Hindi, so do justice to Hindi. क्यों लिखोगे कि हाँ ये कुत्ता भाव भाव कर रहा है? लिखो कि कुत्ता भाव भाव कर रहा है. Take pride in the translation. Take pride in the language. Introduce. It is your duty as a translator to introduce the audience. Who is the audience? The reader. To get acquainted to the culture of the people that he is reading about. Don't just make it easy. अच्छा नहीं यार क्यों उसको भाव भाव बोले? उसको भाव भाव आसान है, उसको भाव भाव ही बोले. नहीं, हमारा कुत्ता भाव भाव करता है. ऐसे. Alright, so जो Balan is telling you. Alright, now. Guess the meaning of these idioms. We don't have much time. Just quickly, just to give you an example. आपके गुरु लोग आपको करवाते होंगे. For example, English में it's raining cats and dogs. बाप रे आज तो कुत्ते और बिल्ली है रे. अरे कुत्ते और बिल्ली no. So what are you going to do? Yes, मूसलाधार बारिश. ठीक है. To have a monkey on one's back. मेरे पीठ में एक बंदर है. No. What would you say? To have basically something difficult, something that's irritating you, something like that. तो आपको वैसी टाइप का कुछ सोचना पड़ेगा जो हिंदी में है. नाक में नकेल. Is that how it will be? Okay, all right. So you have to look at it. Okay, something annoying. Next one, like a cat on hot bricks. Like a cat on hot bricks. And by the way, it's not even just what you're saying; it's how you're saying it. Okay, hot bricks. Literally, expression goes like that. All right. So you can discuss about it because our next one. Translation as a cultural bridge. I already told you about it, okay? Translation is not word for word. It is about conveying meaning. Examples of mistranslations. Pepsi brings your ancestors back from the dead. मैंने आपको KFC का ऐड तो बता दिया. Finger licking good. हाथ उंगलियां खा जाना वाला टाइप का वही वाला. The other one, got milk. Translated as are you lactating in Mexico, okay? Lactating is when mothers are feeding the babies. Yes. तो उन्होंने उसको गॉट मिल्क को वैसे ही ट्रांसलेट कर दिया और जिसको पता नहीं था उसने उसको छपा भी दिया और बाद में उनके केस भी हो गया. Okay, so this is really what's happening around the world. It's not about English and Hindi. It's all around the world. मैं आपको दुनिया का मैप दिखाया और मैंने आपको भारत का मैप दिखाया. क्यों दिखाया? Because in both the situations you understand. Even in our country, translating from Hindi to any of the other languages also we can have a major issue. Unless the people don't realize.
There is also this peculiarity of script. So there is this Lundy or Mundi script used in northwest parts where they don't use matras, and there is a very popular anecdote where they say Lala ji aaj Ajmer gaye hain, and without matra you can read Lala ji aaj mar gaye.
Ah yes, true. One thing which I forgot, the political science person, this is for her, you. आपको पता है हमारे देश जो बना है, the states themselves have been formed on the basis of language. Yes, 3 new states, my state Uttarakhand, along with Chhattisgarh and Jharkhand, it was formed on that. Telangana and Andhra, you know the story, right? So there is a particular, it's very good that you took up this. You should thank him and the organizers, sir, and all, because politics of language is actually a particular, PhD topic. Now, language influences thought and perception. हमने इसको पहले भी बता दिया था. Example, some cultures do not have a word for left and right. They have only cardinal directions. जैसे I forgot the name of the community. Australia में भी ऐसी बात है. They will not say go to the left, go to the right. They go actually by the directions, like north, west, south, east. Don't you think that is better? That's actually better. इंडिया में तो ऐसा है, लोग राइट का हाथ दिखा के बोलते हैं बाएं जाएं, लेफ्ट जाओ. Because when I first came and I was, मेरी मम्मी ने मुझे सिखाया, क्योंकि she knew कि दाएं और बाएं में मुझे प्रॉब्लम है. किसको प्रॉब्लम है दाएं और बाएं में? Confusion? ओके, आज के बाद नहीं होगा, याद रखना. जिस हाथ से
अपने स्टूडेंट को मैं बताती हूँ.
हाँ बताइए.
ऐसा करो और ये आप बताइए.
नहीं, गुड, आप ही बताओ मैम, मैं कुछ और आप बताओ.
ये है डी और ये है डी. हाँ, तो
दाएं बाएं. ओके, या सो लाइक दिस, या ओके, दैट्स गुड, वो सही है. आपको वो अच्छा लगता है वो कर दो. डी और बी, दैट्स वेरी गुड. ठीक है, हर किसी का अपना होता है. मेरी वाले मुझे बोला बेटा तुझे दही खाना पसंद है और तू दही दाएं हाथ से लेती है, तो मैंने कहा हाँ, बट प्रॉब्लम है अगर आप दही बाएं हाथ से लेते हो तो आपके लिए गड़बड़ हो जाएगा. सो बेटर टू रिमेम्बर हर. ओके, दाएं. ओके, गुड. सो या लेटर डी. आप अपना उंगली देखो. हाँ सर, ये डी हुआ ना, ये ऐसे करके डी. ओके एवरीवन. ओके, आई हैव बीन गिवन द सिग्नल. जल्दी. ओके, स्ट्रैटेजीज फॉर इफेक्टिव कल्चरल ट्रांसलेशन. अगर आपको एक इफेक्टिव ट्रांसलेशन करना है, व्हाट आर द बेस्ट प्रैक्टिसेस? इन डेप्थ कल्चरल रिसर्च कीजिए. ठीक है, सबसे पहले शी सेड शी इज अ बंगालन. Yes, she's a Bengali. Okay, Bengali में बोला प्रॉब्लम नहीं है.
हिंदी में तो बंगाली.
हाँ, बहुत बढ़िया. Very good. Okay, so ma'am is a Bengali who knows French, English and Hindi. Okay, so imagine she is actually translating. So she needs to know the culture of each and every language that she will be translating in. Okay, all right. Collaboration with the native speakers and the cultural experts. Agar let us say that she is a Bengali who is fluent in English and Hindi. French mein she's pretty good, but maybe in the next 10 years she'll get better. But right now she still needs to confirm and check with somebody who is a French native speaker. Okay, जब तक आप बिल्कुल वो नहीं हो जाते, पक्के नहीं हो जाते हो, you need time. Then using both domestication and foreignization judiciously. Importance of cultural competence. Now technology, last में ये cover करूंगी. Machine versus human translation, Google Translate versus professional translators. मैंने आपको example दे दिया है. आप जाकर crowd sourcing करके दिखाओ. Crowd sourcing वो दिखाएगा आपको भीड़. Okay, जबकि वो भीड़ वाली बात नहीं है. It is जनसूत्र. It is basically public say, and we already talked about it. Interactive activity, AI versus human translation. Try translating an idiom from your language using Google Translate and discuss the accuracy. Now this is another important thing. There is an ethical considerations. मैंने आपको starting में भी ये बात बताया था. In translation, not only should you be politically correct, there is censorship and biasness which a person can sometimes bring of their own. You have to take care of that. There is an importance of cultural sensitivity. जैसे कि I heard during her talk, you asked this question कि ma'am religious के something you had asked. Can you change the thing that some certain texts are changed, right? उसका meaning कुछ और होता है. I'm just coming to that part. So yeah, I'll just come to that. Should translation always be literal? How do we ensure cultural sensitivity? Is it okay to modify religious or political texts in translation? The answer is obviously no. Everybody say no. It is not okay to do that. You have to consider, you have to say it as it is. You cannot do injustice. There is an ethical thing that is okay. During, yes ma'am.
लेकिन कभी-कभी
yes.
ये नो नहीं चलेगा.
हाँ.
तो मैं उस पर
okay, you can talk about it.
कभी-कभी यानी कोई जैसे कि कल्चरल की
Yes.
कारण
Yes, ma'am.
के लिए
हाँ.
थोड़ा सा मॉडिफिकेशन हो सकता है. जैसे कि मैं एक
हाँ.
एग्जांपल दे दूंगी. जैसे कि जब आप चाइनीज में ट्रांसलेशन करते हैं, चाइनीज कल्चर में कुछ चीजें नहीं
हाँ, वही ओके, या दैट वे यू मेंट. ओके और हाँ,
ये नहीं है.
या एक्चुअली सी, मैंने एक चीज बोला था that ethical considerations have to be done and technically you should be saying it as it is, right? But what she's trying to tell you, जहाँ पे आपको दबाव पड़ता है because of certain reasons, okay? It could be political, it could be ideological, it could be certain reasons. You have to save the community, save the people, and accordingly you have to take care, okay? So I agree with that part, yes. But I was hoping that they'll be stronger, but I agree. कभी-कभी जान भी.
There are rules.
Yes.
But then
Yes.
rules have to be applied.
You have to save yourself. Yes.
Also has to do with the discursiveness of translation.
Yes.
How
Okay.
Foucault talks about
The translator is a cultural mediator, adapting the tone, the intent and context, ethics in diplomatic and literary translation. ये जो मैडम कह रही है डिप्लोमेसी वाली, वो ये वाला लाइन पे आ गया है, ठीक है? All right. Now, that's it. This I saw ma'am had done something similar, so I just removed it from the main thing. So this is a scenario, I just wanted you to think about this. Should a translator alter the content that might be offensive in another culture? That what ma'am is saying, but yes, it depends on the situation. Okay. Generally, no, but as ma'am said, certain rules have to be mended or bent a little bit depending on the situation. Okay. So the key takeaways, ladies and gentlemen, is that language is deeply tied to culture. Do you agree? Yes or no? Yes? Okay. Translation is more than words. It conveys meaning, yes, and context. Social linguistic enhances cross-cultural understanding. And the final reflection is for all of you, what did you learn? You spent 1.5 or 2 hours of your life right now. And what did you learn? How does this apply to your experience? So thank you to each and every one of you who have come from outside JNU. Okay. All right. Any questions? Any questions? The floor is open because I've already crossed the time limit. हाँ जी, किसी को कुछ कहना? हाँ, सभी लैंग्वेजेस जितना मैं कर सकती थी वो छोटे से डब्बे में मैंने किया है. हाँ जी, किसी को कुछ कहना है, पूछना है? Any experience to share anything? वैसे तो मैंने बहुत कोशिश किया कि आपके सोचने से पहले ही बता दूं टाइम बचाने के लिए. So इसलिए it's become a little bit longer so that initially sir I was like इतना कैसे बात करूंगी? He said don't worry, I know you will speak. All right. So everyone, I'm sorry if you were expecting a technical one with the definitions and everything. I tried to balance with the actual interactiveness and to, try to get you people to think. Because ma'am already did a very good job of making you people understand the different concepts. And aapke guru log to aapko bata hi rahe hain. But I wanted you people to think for yourself in political science, in French, in Arabic, in Korean. Your Korean faculties are here. Your Persian faculties are here. What exactly is going in the process? It's not as simple as you think. Okay, I have spent the last 2 weeks at CDAC Noida trying to be part of the committee that is translating around for artificial intelligence. We translated 3,000 words. Last में हमको 500 words psycholinguistics का भी दे दिया. Why? Because psycholinguistics is a part of artificial intelligence. और जो मैंने आपको crowdsourcing का example दिया है, because of certain reasons, because it's confidential, I can't share the entire word list. I'm sorry. And sir recording कर रहे हैं तो वैसे भी नहीं कर सकते. इसलिए मैंने खाली एक word का ही लिया है. Because this is a common word. ठीक है? हाँ जी.
So as a student of literature, there is a thing we read about contrapuntal reading against the grain, and there is also
यहाँ पे हाँ.
this thing called writing against the grain, where you have certain connotations hidden within the text.
Yes.
So we also have something called translation against the grain, where you try to privilege a certain connotation within the text in your translation, but it's not the dominant or privileged connotation, let's say other translations.
Okay, and so just correct me if I'm wrong, okay? What you're saying is certain words, when they are written down in a sentence, they can have a double meaning. That we agree? Yes? So now when you as a translator are translating, what will you be translating? Will you be translating the upper layer one translation, or will you be getting the double?
Not just that, I'm speaking of it in discursive and political terms as well. I'll just take an example.
So there is this novel that I read as a part of my undergraduate studies, Heart of Darkness by Joseph Conrad.
Okay.
Now that novel you read contrapuntally, not just what is being said, but what is missing and what is the connotation behind what is being said.
Okay.
So when you translate a text such as that, what connotation do you privilege?
Okay, so whatever message is given out to you, what you picked up, that is obviously what the writer wanted. Okay, so there is one thing. When a country is going through certain political changes, okay, let's say when the Nazis were there, okay, and the Jews were writing initially, before they were taken to the concentration camps, the Jews were voicing out. They couldn't directly voice out. They were voicing out in different ways. Like ma'am said, direct translation means thoda, you have to be very careful. Now, if she was given a text written by a Jewish person, and she knew the language, she knew Hebrew, and she is translating it, she is trying to protect the person. Do you think she is going to tell the Nazi that what it actually meant? No. Depends. If she is wanting, yeah. Yes. If she, depending on her ethics. So what is her understanding? It's not as if she doesn't know both the meanings. It is what she wants to give out to the world. I told you people, who are you people translating for? For yourself? No, you are translating for the audience. Mahatma Gandhi said, customer is God. You people say, audience is God. Say it. Audience is God. You are doing it for the translator, for the person who's reading. You are the translator. So you will always try to think that for him or her to do justice, try to as much as possible do the best. What you interpreted, give it to them. Under the circumstances, what she has already mentioned, be careful also. Yes. Okay, thank you.
No, ma'am, actually yesterday, while we were doing translation of poetry, one thing, it skipped my mind at that point of time. Because later when I went back, I recollected. When I was a student in class 7, I had read the English version of a poetry of Rabindranath Tagore. Everybody knows. He translated his own work himself.
Yes.
Okay. But the form of the poetry had completely changed in the English translation. And I had read the English translation first. And the Bengali I heard much later. Although Bengali is my mother tongue. So I will just share a few verses so that I can tell you how it changes in translation. But the poet himself did it. Okay. So it is on Upagupta. He is a sannyasi who follows Buddhism. So the English translation goes, Upagupta, the disciple of Buddha, lay asleep in the dust by the city wall of Mathura. Lamps were all out, doors were all shut, and stars were all hidden by the murky sky of August. This is the English version. Now I will read you the Bengali one, although many people will not be able to understand the Bengali. সন্ন্যাসী উপগুপ্ত মথুরাপুরীর প্রাচীরের তলে একদা ছিলেন সুপ্ত নগরীর দিক নিবেছে পবনে দুয়ারে রুদ্ধ পৌর ভবনে নিশীথের তারা শ্রাবণ গগনে ঘন মেঘে অবরুদ্ধ. You can understand the rhyme schema. I'm not asking you to do the rhyme schema, which is actually Gupto, Shukto, Lukto. That is exactly what he's doing. We call it the rhyme plate, A, B, A, B. But when he's doing it in English, he's just doing it in reverse. But he is it.
There is also this case of Premchand's novel, Usme Pradhan and Seva Sadan.
प्रेमचंद ऐसा सबके साथ होता है. हरिमोहन झा ने खट्टर प्रकाश कलम शीर्षक से अपनी किताब बेचते हैं. राजभवन प्रकाशन से खट्टर काका छपी हुई. देश की तमाम भाषाओं में उसका तमिल, तेलुगु, कन्नड़, मलयालम में, बंगला में सब में अनुवाद हो चुका है. लेकिन सारे लोगों ने अनुवाद किया है बंगाली छोड़कर, बाकी सब ने अनुवाद किया है हिंदी से. और वह हिंदी को ही खराब ट्रांसलेशन जो हरिमोहन झा ने खुद किया. जो फ्रेंच अंग्रेजी के, संस्कृत के, मैथिली के प्रकाश अनुवाद जब